Welcome to Empower page 94. Reading. Think of things you bought in the past week. Tell each other why you bought it and the different ways you paid. Okay, you're just going to you're going to write about it. And then read, is it time to give up on cash? What is a writer's aim? Okay, is it one of these three? Well, you have to go down here and read this article right here. Okay, so you read your article and you answer. In this case, check that your answer would be number 2, to question some of the benefits of a cashless society. Now read the article again and match the headings with paragraphs 2 through 6. Okay, you're going to do the matching activity right there and check that your matching goes like this. And then read the article again. Answer the questions. Okay, you're going to answer these 5 questions. You can check your answers right here if they are the same or similar. And then on letter A, from number 5, speaking, work on your own. What's your opinion of these statements? Make notes. In this case, you're just going to send me the notes on your opinion on these 4 statements. Okay? Which advice do you think is more relevant and why? You're going to choose one of the 4 that you consider more relevant. Okay, we go all the way to page 95. I would have opened it. Reading and listening. Look at the photo of the 2012 London Olympics closing ceremony and discuss the questions. Okay, you're going to answer these questions by looking at this picture right here. This is a closing ceremony. Wasn't it spectacular? So you go back, you answer, and then read the article, Honest London. What did the newspaper want to find out about, these 3 things? Okay, you're going to answer by reading this article right here. It goes from page 95, and it's a very short article, so it's only page 95. Okay, so you read this article right here and you answer. Check. Right here. Okay, so listen to 4 people saying what they would have done. Which person would have? Okay, let's listen and find out.
Track 3.21.
Well, I think if I'd found it in the street, I would have posted the letter. It seems quite clear to me. Obviously, the person should have been more careful, but it wasn't addressed to me, so it would have been quite wrong to open it. It would have been theft. It doesn't matter what was in it. If I'd found it in a cafe, I would have given it to one of the staff to keep for Mr. Finger.
I probably would have opened it to check that there really were tickets inside, but then I would have posted it to Mr. Fingham. I'm sure the closing ceremony was wonderful, but if I'd used the tickets, I would have felt guilty, so I wouldn't have enjoyed it. If I'd wanted to go, I would have bought my own tickets.
If I'd found this letter, I certainly wouldn't have just posted it. First, I would have looked at it to see what it was, and I think I would have opened it to see if there really were tickets inside, just out of curiosity. Then I would have thought about it. Maybe I would have used the tickets myself, I don't know. I would have been tempted, certainly. Maybe I'm just not a very honest person. But I would have thought, well, it wasn't my mistake. He shouldn't have dropped the letter. So, tough luck.
If I'd seen a letter like this, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. I would have just walked on past and left it for someone else. It's better to mind your own business. You never know what you might find if you pick something up in the street. You hear so many stories about letter bombs these days. I think I would have been afraid to touch it.
Okay, now that you listened, Which person would have, you're going to write down which person would do that, and you're going to check that these are your answers. Which speaker? On letter D, listen again. You can pause the video and go back and listen again. What is the main point that each speaker makes? Choose A or B. Okay, you listen again and you choose. Then you can check if your answers are correct. On letter E, communication, you go to page 133 and find out what people in London did. Then answer the questions. So in order for you to answer these questions, you need to go to page 133. Okay, now we go to page 96. Grammar. Third conditional. Should have plus the past participle. This would be the structure. You would start with should have and add the past participle. Look at these examples and answer the questions. If I found one of the letters in the street, I would have posted it. It would have been quite wrong to open it. Are the speakers talking about something that really happened or just imagining a situation? Are they talking about the present, the future, or the past? And then you're going to complete the rules for the third conditional. So let's check them out. They were actually imagining a situation. Okay, that's the third conditional because you're imagining something that hasn't happened. And then on number 2, it's the past, something you imagined you would have done in the past. And 3, the rules are after if we use the past perfect tense, had plus past participle. In the main clause of the sentence, we use would, have, plus past participle. Okay? These are the structures you need to follow. Now look at these examples and choose the correct answers. Obviously, the person should have been more careful. Well, it wasn't my mistake. He shouldn't have dropped the letter. Okay? The bold expressions are used, and the form of the bold expressions is, well, let's find out. To criticize someone, and the form is shouldn't have plus the past participle. Now, pronunciation. Listen to these sentences. The stressed words are in bold.
Track 3.22.
He shouldn't have dropped the letter. You should have told me.
What do you notice about the pronunciation of the unstressed words? Are they the same length as the stressed sounds or shorter and said more quickly? The answer is 2. They are shorter and said more quickly. Now practice saying the sentences. Okay, you can start practicing your pronunciation by saying the sentences. Then you go to Grammar Focus, page 148. On Grammar Focus, page 148, we've got the third conditional explanation right here. Okay? When we use the if clause and the main clause, you're going to read this. We can use the structure should have plus past participle to criticize other people's past actions. And this would be the way you would structure it. If plus past perfect and would have plus past participle. Now the third conditional, we use the third conditional to talk about imagined past events of states and their consequences. And then we've got the mixed conditionals. We combine clauses from the second and third conditional to talk about the past conditions would result in the present or present conditions would result in the past. So we got the if clause, the part of the sentence that has a conditional, and the main clause, the result. Okay? So you read this. Just be careful with the apostrophe D. It's short for had and in the if clause, but would in the main clause. For example, if I'd known earlier, I would have told you. Okay? So the thing is, in this case, it's for would, and this case is for had. Okay? You have to know the difference. Right next to page 148, we got page 149 with an exercise. You are going to answer this exercise right here and check that your answers are complete and correct. This is for letter A. For letter B, check that you're using the clauses correctly. Then you're going to match the sentence halves right here. The if clause with the main clause. And now we're going to go back to page 96. What would you have done if you found an envelope? Which of these options would you have done? So just choose one and send it. And then we go to speaking, work into pairs. You're going to read about 2 moral dilemmas. Okay? So there's a moral dilemma right here below, and there's another one on page 132. But we're going to work with this one, okay? So read the story and answer the questions. You're going to read the story about the bribe right here. This is the story. Okay, this one. And you're going to answer these questions right here. Okay? Check that your answers are according to this. And then answer these questions as well. And we're just going to work on that dilemma today. On page 97, we got vocabulary crime. Which of the words in the box could you use to discuss the test described in Honest London and the 2 dilemmas in 3A? Okay? And there you go. These would be your answers. Now I'm going to explain what these words mean. You can look for them in the dictionary. Burglary is when somebody goes and steals things from a closed place like a store or a house, okay? Theft is stealing, lying is saying lies, robbery is also stealing. Cheating is like trying to make someone think something that it's not, and then bribery is when you give money in exchange for a bad favor, and murder is when you kill someone. But look for it on your dictionary. And then answer the questions about the words in 4A. Which words describe a crime and which words describe dishonest behavior, which is not illegal. Okay, that is quite challenging because in number 1, the crime would be burglary, theft, robbery, bribery, and murder. And that means you can go to prison for these. And a dishonest behavior, which is not illegal, would be lying and cheating. That doesn't mean you have to go to prison for that. And then 3 of the words mean stealing money or valuable things, which means stealing in general is theft. No matter the way you steal, theft is the way you say it in general. Stealing from a home or a building is burglary. And the person who does that is a burglar. And then stealing with violence, like a knife or a gun, is robbery. So that's the difference between burglary and robbery and theft, okay? And then complete the table with the correct words in the box, okay? We got some words right here. And we're going to complete the box. Okay, so a burglar is somebody that commits or has the behavior of burglary, and he burgles, right? A thief commits theft, and he is stealing. A robber commits a robbery, and he robs. A cheat is a person who is cheating, and the action is cheating, to cheat, right? And then there's not a word for a person that gives a bribe, but they call it bribery because they give a bribe, money in exchange. A murderer, somebody who commits the crime of murder and murders someone. A kidnapper is someone that commits the crime of kidnap and he kidnaps a child, right? Could be a child or a person that they take out of their liberty. And then we got a shoplifter who is doing the shoplifting crime, and he shoplifts, he steals from a shop. Okay, so just remember to look for these words in case you don't understand them quite well on a dictionary. Then read these news headlines and choose the correct word. You're going to choose between burglars and robbers, kidnapping and theft. So let's find out. We got for the first one, robbers, theft, murder, cheat, shoplifting, and burglars. Okay, those are the words you need to choose to complete those phrases. Okay, and now you go to vocabulary focus on page 161 right here. What you're going to do is read the two news reports, match the illustrations to the underlined words and phrases. Okay, you're going to do that. Check that you did it correctly right here. And on letter B, choose the correct words to complete the dialogue, then listen and check. In this case, you can read it and choose the correct words. On letter C, think of a famous court case from your country or from a film you've seen. Make notes on what happened, then think about it. Could be any court case or anything that has happened here in the country, and you're going to write down these notes, okay? Discuss the court cases. Which one is the most interesting? Okay, well, you're just going to send me the one you chose. And then pronunciation, sounds, and spelling. L. Listen to the words. Is the letter L pronounced in all of them? Let's find out.
Track 3.26.
Stole, will, talk, trial.
You can notice in the word talk, you don't listen quite to the L. Doesn't sound, okay? It's talk. The other words, you can notice the L. Now, underline the word in each group where L is not pronounced. Okay, let's
Track
find out.
3.27. 1. Called, could, cold. 2. Milk, incredible, walk. 3. Should, guilty, told. 4. Film, gold, calm.
Okay, check that you chose these words right here and practice saying them. Now go back to page 97. Okay, and what you're going to do next is read the following situations. What would you have done? Okay, you're going to read them and you're going to answer this question for each situation. Which of these situations do you think is the most serious and why? Do you think it's always important to be honest? Okay, this was today's class, guys. Thank you very much and see you soon.